People are not always what they seem. They lie, they manipulate, and they hide their true feelings behind carefully crafted masks. But no matter how hard they try, their body, their eyes, and their unconscious habits always betray them.
The truth is, most people are easy to read if you know what to look for. Dark psychology isn't about trusting words. Words are just noise, distractions meant to deceive. The real story is told through body language, micro-expressions, speech patterns, and subconscious behaviors that people can't control. These are the cracks in their armor, the small but undeniable signals that reveal their real intentions. Once you understand these tricks, you'll start seeing things that were invisible to you before. You'll notice when someone is lying, when they are pretending to like you, when they are trying to manipulate you. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. The world isn't a kind place. It's full of hidden agendas, power struggles, and silent battles for control. Most people go through life blind to it, but after this video, you won't be one of them. You'll be able to read people like an open book, whether they want you to or not. Let's begin. People can control their words, they can fake a smile, they can rehearse their lies, but their eyes will always betray them. The eyes are the most honest part of the human body because they react instinctively. They reveal fear, deception, and hidden intentions, no matter how well someone tries to cover them up. Think about it. When someone is nervous or lying, they struggle to maintain eye contact. Their pupils may dilate slightly, a biological reaction to stress. Their blinking pattern changes. Either they blink too much, trying to think of a way out, or too little, as their brain focuses entirely on keeping the lie going. Direction matters, too. When someone looks up and to the right, they are often constructing a story, fabricating details. That's a red flag. If they look up and to the left, they are usually recalling real memories. Of course, this isn't foolproof, but combined with other signs, it's a powerful tool to expose deception. Then there's the stare, when someone barely blinks and locks eyes with you too intensely. It might feel like confidence, but in reality, it's often a dominance tactic, a psychological trick to make you second-guess yourself. Skilled manipulators, narcissists, and liars use this to make you uncomfortable, to put you on the defensive before you even realize what's happening. And watch for quick, darting eye movements. When someone suddenly shifts their gaze away, it's usually because they've just thought of something they don't want to say out loud. A rapid glance toward an exit. They're thinking about leaving. A quick look at someone else in the room. They're checking for approval or help. Most people never notice these subtle behaviors. But once you start paying attention to the eyes, you'll begin to see the truth behind every conversation. No one is as good at hiding their emotions as they think they are. They can try, but their eyes will always tell on them. Keep watching, because once you learn all these tricks, you'll never look at people the same way again. People are good at lying, but their faces aren't. No matter how much someone tries to hide their true feelings, their subconscious slips up. It happens in a fraction of a second, a flicker of anger, a flash of fear, a glimpse of disgust. These are called micro-expressions, and they reveal what a person is really thinking, even when they don't want to. Most people never notice them. They are too busy listening to words, believing the act. But if you train yourself to watch closely, you'll see through the mask. Take anger, for example. When someone's truly mad, their eyebrows lower, their eyes narrow slightly, and their lips tighten or press together. But if they are trying to hide it, this expression might last for just a split second before they force a neutral or fake friendly look. If you catch that moment, you know exactly what they don't want you to know. Sadness is another easy one to spot. When someone is genuinely upset, the inner corners of their eyebrows pull up, and the muscles around their mouth slacken. But when they fake sadness, those muscles don't move naturally, because true sadness isn't just in the eyes or the lips, it's in both. If someone's pretending to feel bad but only their mouth is involved, they are acting. Then there's fear. When a person feels real fear, even for a brief moment, their eyes widen, and their mouth may slightly part as if they are about to gasp. This is instinct. If you ask someone a question and see that flicker of fear in their expression, they are hiding something. Maybe they're afraid of getting caught. Maybe they don't like where the conversation is going. Either way, you've hit a nerve. Disgust and contempt are especially dangerous because they expose what someone truly thinks about you. A quick upturn of the upper lip, even for half a second, means disgust. A slight smirk on just one side of the mouth. Contempt. If you notice these expressions in someone who's supposed to be your friend or ally, be careful. They're not as loyal as they pretend to be. The scary thing about micro-expressions is that they happen automatically. People don't even realize they're showing them. That's why they are one of the most reliable ways to read someone. Once you start paying attention, you'll see what people are really feeling, whether they admit it or not. Words can be deceptive. People rehearse lies, choose their words carefully, and manipulate conversations to control how others see them. But here's the catch. No matter how smooth someone thinks they are, their speech patterns will always reveal cracks in their story. Most people don't listen closely enough. They hear the words but miss the way they are said. That's a mistake. If you want to know what someone is really thinking, stop focusing on what they say and start analyzing how they say it. One of the biggest giveaways is hesitation. When someone takes too long to answer a simple question, they are not just thinking, they are calculating. A natural response flows easily. But if there's a pause, especially before something that should be straightforward, they are likely trying to come up with an answer that sounds right instead of one that's true. Then there's over-explaining. When a person gives too many details, especially unprompted, they are often trying too hard to be convincing. Honest people don't feel the need to justify every little thing. They say what happened and move on. But liars? They add unnecessary details to make their story seem more real. And in doing so, they expose themselves. Watch for voice changes too. A sudden drop in tone. That's often a sign of deception, like their body instinctively trying to hide something. A higher pitch. That's usually anxiety creeping in, a subconscious reaction to stress. Speed matters as well. When someone talks too fast, they are either nervous or trying to rush past something they don't want to dwell on. When they slow down too much, they might be carefully choosing their words to avoid slipping up. Either way, their speech is unnatural, and that's always a red flag. Another subtle but powerful clue is distancing language. When people lie, they often avoid using direct terms. Instead of saying, "I didn't take the money," they might say, "I would never do something like that." Instead of admitting, "I was there," they'll say, "People say I was there." Pay close attention. This type of phrasing is a subconscious way to detach themselves from the truth. And finally, listen for contradictions. A liar often struggles to keep their story consistent. They may change small details without realizing it, especially if you bring something up again later. If their version of events shifts even slightly, you've caught them in a lie, whether they admit it or not. Words can be manipulated, but patterns don't lie. If you train yourself to listen beyond the surface, you'll start noticing the cracks in people's words. And once you do, you'll hear the truth hiding beneath every conversation. People lie with words, but their bodies always tell the truth. No matter how much someone tries to control their image, their unconscious movements will always betray them. That's because body language is instinctual, controlled by the subconscious, not logic. And if you know what to look for, you can see straight through anyone. Most people ignore these signals. They focus on what someone is saying instead of paying attention to the subtle, involuntary gestures that reveal everything. But once you understand the hidden language of the body, you'll see deception, discomfort, and manipulation long before words confirm it. One of the most obvious tells is crossed arms. When someone folds their arms tightly across their chest, they are creating a physical barrier. It's a classic defensive move, used when a person feels threatened, uncomfortable, or resistant to what's being said. If you're talking to someone and they suddenly cross their arms, they are mentally shutting down. Then there's fidgeting. People touch their face, rub their neck, or tap their fingers when they are nervous. It's a subconscious way to release anxiety. But when someone suddenly starts fidgeting in the middle of a conversation, it's usually because they are uncomfortable with the topic, or hiding something. Shifting weight and leaning away is another major clue. When someone is engaged and interested, they lean in. When they feel threatened or want to escape, they subtly lean back. This happens in business deals, arguments, and even relationships. If someone starts pulling away mid-conversation, they're either losing interest or actively resisting what's being said. Now, let's talk about foot direction, a psychological trick most people never think about. The feet are the most honest part of the body because they are not controlled consciously. If someone is talking to you, but their feet are pointed toward the exit, they want to leave. If their feet shift away while you're speaking, their mind is already somewhere else. It's a dead giveaway. And then there's mirroring, when someone subconsciously copies your movements. This happens when they feel comfortable with you, but it's also a tool used by manipulators to build false trust. Skilled persuaders, con artists, and even narcissists use mirroring to make you feel like you're on the same page. If someone is copying your gestures a little too perfectly, they might be trying to manipulate you. The bottom line: the body never lies. When words and body language don't match, always trust the body. Once you master these signs, you'll see the truth before anyone speaks it. And that's a skill most people never develop. If you're finding these dark psychology tricks useful, make sure to subscribe, because we're only scratching the surface. In the next videos on this channel, we'll dive even deeper into the hidden tactics used to influence, manipulate, and control. And wait, this is not the end. Now we are going to part 5. People like those who are similar to them. It's human nature. We're drawn to people who make us feel understood, who reflect our energy, who seem to be just like us. But what most people don't realize is that this connection can be manufactured. It can be controlled. And it's one of the most dangerous tricks in dark psychology. This technique is called mirroring, and it's more powerful than most people think. It's not just about copying someone's body language, it's about manipulating their subconscious mind into trusting you, without them even realizing it. Here's how it works. When you subtly imitate someone's posture, gestures, speech patterns, or even breathing rhythm, their brain starts associating you with familiarity and comfort. They feel like they know you, even if they've just met you. That's why mirroring is used by salespeople, con artists, and manipulators to gain trust quickly. A skilled manipulator doesn't just copy movements, they mirror emotions. If someone lowers their voice, they do the same. If someone leans in, they lean in slightly. If the person talks fast, they speed up. If they slow down, they match the pace. All of this happens so subtly that the target never realizes it's happening. But deep in their subconscious, they start feeling a bond, one that's completely artificial. And once that bond is there, control becomes easy. People are more likely to agree with, follow, or open up to someone they feel connected to. That's why mirroring is so effective in persuasion and manipulation. It makes people drop their guard. But here's where it gets even darker. If you notice someone mirroring you, pay attention, because they might be the one trying to manipulate you. A person who mirrors too perfectly, too intentionally, could be using this trick to influence you without you realizing it. The scariest part: this tactic works in relationships, friendships, business, even politics. People use mirroring to get close, to gain influence, to create alliances, but not always for good reasons. Sometimes, it's a setup. Understanding mirroring isn't just about learning how to use it. It's about knowing when you're being played. The moment you start recognizing it, you take back control. And control is everything. If you're starting to see the patterns that others miss, then you're already ahead of most people. But this is just the beginning. The deeper you go into dark psychology, the more you realize how much of human interaction is built on illusion. Keep watching, because once you learn these secrets, you'll never look at people the same way again. Most people walk through life blind. They trust words, ignore the signs, and assume others have good intentions. But the truth is, deception is everywhere. People lie. They manipulate. They hide their real thoughts behind fake smiles and carefully chosen words. But now, you're starting to see what others don't. You know how to read the subtle clues, the way someone's eyes betray their lies, the way micro-expressions expose hidden emotions, the way speech patterns and body language reveal the truth before a person even realizes they've slipped up. This knowledge gives you an advantage. You won't be so easily fooled. You won't be so easily controlled. While most people accept what they are told at face value, you'll be reading between the lines, watching for the cracks, noticing the things no one else does. And once you start seeing the world this way, there's no going back. You'll pick up on deception in conversations. You'll recognize when someone is trying to manipulate you. You'll sense dishonesty before the other person even finishes their sentence. The world isn't as simple as people like to think. It's full of hidden agendas, subtle power plays, and unspoken battles for control. But now you're no longer an easy target. You see the patterns. You recognize the games people play. And most importantly, you know how to protect yourself. If you've made it this far, it means you're serious about understanding human nature on a deeper level. And trust me, there's so much more to uncover. So if you want to keep sharpening your ability to read people, if you want to go even deeper into the world of dark psychology, make sure you subscribe. Because once you start learning these skills, you'll never see people the same way again. Stay aware, stay in control, and don't let yourself be deceived.